Bamf.
Hey, folks. Bamf! Thanks for tuning into the Bamf podcast. I'm your host, Mike Lafferty. Here is our contractually obligated intro music. That's enough of that. That assures you, gentle listener, that you're ingesting a high quality, high production value tabletop role-playing game podcast. Nothing second best around here. And look, who's running in from the stands to join us but Walter Billiard, apparently broadcasting from a inky black void. Hey, Walter, are you there?
Sorry, I got to take the cover off my screen. Please continue.
Okay. I just let everyone know this is a high-quality podcast. No half-assing it here. No, sir.
Spin that disc.
Spin that disc.
So Walt's still getting dressed, huh?
Well, don't judge.
It's
Not
hard
judging,
fitting.
not judging.
It's hard to fit into that Rabbit Raccoon costume.
True.
It's a little tight.
So who wants to
But
give
if
the
anybody
recap?
can, he's short enough.
Who wants to give the recap of where we are? Jason, Jacob?
I can do it.
Okay.
Yeah, so the party has made their way to the Howard and Maria Stark building at Empire State University, and they have intercepted a transmission that told them that Hydra was taking hostages there, and they needed hero assistance. So the heroes quickly dispatched the Hydra agents on site. When they got to the last couple of them, a group of Hydra villains that are very similar to our heroes started attacking the heroes.
Go
So
figure.
that they can get what they're after. And when we left off, we had an initiative order and all. So we can just take it straight from the top and go from there.
Sounds good.
All right, so we'll start off with Captain America's action.
Wait, one bit of business. Who's Mike going to join us with?
I am Uatu. I can watch, but I am sworn never to interfere.
That was actually really good. That's a really good one.
Okay, the Great Watcher
All right.
shall watch us. Got it.
Okay, sounds good.
You sure you don't want to play, Mike? All right. Captain America is going to open the round by activating Operations Center. He will shout out, "Avengers Assemble!" And all characters up to in earshot, up to my rank, which is 15, that all my allies are affected and gain an edge on all action checks until the start of my next turn. I can maintain this power with a move action.
Damn.
Wow,
So,
that's pretty impressive.
everyone enjoy that.
Hell
Okay.
yeah.
All right, next will be Storm.
Okay. Storm is going to. Well, I think I'm going to. Are they still dazed and whatnot from my AOE earlier? Hi. Some
Yes,
of them
they
were
are.
deaf and such like that. Okay. Then at that point, I am going to target a single target on their Captain America, their version of Cap, and see about taking their quote unquote leader down.
All right. Let's see how it goes.
And apparently I have a plan fail. There we go. Okay, let's roll some dice.
Rolling some dice.
Not too bad, I guess. That is a 12 on 3d6. So I am using ego, so 12.
Remember, you get an edge, so
Oh,
you can
yes.
reroll any of those.
Yeah, 336 doesn't seem that bad. So I'll keep. So that is going to be, I said 12, so 33.
That is going to hit.
Okay. So then I'm going to do my damage. I am going to use the edge on my damage because I got 661. Oh wait, 661 on damage doesn't do jack. So let's see if I
No.
can do higher damage. Okay, I gotta show you guys this on the camera. That reroll on that edge got me 666 max damage.
All right. What's the total with that bonus?
So my range is 30, plus 30 damage. So that is 18 plus 30. That's 48
All right.
max damage. Thanks for the edge.
Okay, so Captain America does have a little bit of damage reduction here. All right. All right. So, do you want to describe your attack?
Yeah. So this is a lightning strike. So I call the electricity from the building, and it just channels down, and you see it crackle into my hands, and using me as a lightning rod. Then I shoot my arms forward, and it just strikes horizontally straight at Cap into the doorway behind him.
All right. All right. Yeah, he's got
And then I get
smoking
behind my
off his,
Cap.
off his uniform. He like, you can see a lot of pain in his face and his eyes, and he kind of works through it, but he does take some visible damage.
Okay.
He blocks some of it with his shield.
And you see the crackling on the door handle of the lightning as it starts to dissipate the electricity. I'm done.
All right. Next up, we have Militant, the enemy Captain America.
Yeah, BS'd.
Yep. So he's gonna throw his shield at Storm for causing him so much pain.
What a jerk.
Okay. So me getting behind Cap, does that do me any good? Didn't think so, but getting behind my meat shield.
We'll give you some cover.
Sure. Sounds great.
Yep. Okay, so you're up here in the top right corner of the thing. So you said you're wanting to move behind Cap.
Well, I was here before when I attacked him, and then I moved here.
Okay.
Green is us, right?
No, that's Hydra.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. So I shot him. So then I'm going to move behind my Cap. So yes.
Okay. All right. You're gonna get a little bit of cover,
guys.
Yep. And in this case, I was matching the color of the profiles, which are red.
Mm-hmm.
So and the green is Hydra. So okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and give it a roll.
Bring it.
All right, so he rolls 23 to hit.
On what defense?
That's going to be your agility defense.
Okay, that hits me. I am a 22, so count whatever cover you were giving me.
Okay, that's going to be let's give that a +3.
Okay, so that would be a 25, so he would miss me.
All right, so his
bounces
shield.
off Cap's shield.
Yep.
Am I able to get onto
Okay,
your
next.
screen?
That's going to be Wolverine.
Okay, so where is fake Wolverine? Is he nearby?
Yeah, he's right in front of you.
Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to pop my claws with a nice schnick noise, and I say, I get the feeling that's not adamantium in there. Let's take a look. And I'm going to give him a good stabbing. Right. Okay, that would be 7, 13, plus my bonuses. Oh, God. 44.
Oh, yeah. That is going to hit.
Okay, and then... Oh, so that's damage, sorry. My mistake. Sorry, damage. Okay, sorry. 35.
All right, that's still going to hit.
Okay, and so damage-wise, we are doing... Oh, even better damage. Okay, and I get to do a second attack, unless I'm mistaken, with my fast slashes.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So that's 9, 10, 11, 12, 14... 32 damage with the first strike.
Okay.
All right.
While he's
And
rolling
then-
damage, while he's doing that, I whisper to Cap, that's just a low grade doppelganger. I bet it's just nothing but lead inside.
Second attack is a 27 to hit.
Oh yeah, definitely hits.
Okay, and damage wise, this is not as good. I'm going to use my edge to re-roll a dice. That'd be 7, 8. That would be 39 for a second attack.
Oh man, he is looking rough. He's in bad shape.
Okay.
So your claws cut deep into his skin, and his healing factor isn't quite as up to snuff as yours is. So
Cool.
he's looking rough.
I'm done.
All right. Let's see. Next will be Lightning, the Storm lookalike, and she's gonna go ahead and do a lightning attack. All right, so she rolls a total of 9 on the die, and then she has a plus 11, so that'll be math 20.
That'll be math.
That'll
Yeah.
make me. I'm a 32.
32. All right. Yeah, that is not going to hit. So lightning strikes beside you, and
I just
And-
absorb it. I just reach out and draw it in.
okay.
Start
Yeah,
playing
you
with
just
it
like
on my
catch it.
fingers.
Right. The queen.
I had some art for lightning. I just thought that would be appropriate.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
Excellent representation there. Thank you. All right. Let's see. Next up
No.
will be Trash Panda, which is the Rocket Raccoon look-alike, and he's going to fire his shots at Captain America.
Okay.
09.
So he rolled a 13, and let's see, he's got a plus 9 there.
I'm sorry.
That's going to miss.
So
I have a defense
22.
24.
Have you gotten to the page? Support?
All right, so he's laughing, shooting at you,
Okay.
but not hitting you.
I
You know,
thought
it's
you
just
said
you're
wait-
catching it on
wait a
your
minute,
shield.
so I thought you had gotten it.
But he's got a crazy
Oh,
laugh
right.
going
I
on.
apologize.
And then Rocket.
Can I hack this guy? The guy that's pretending to be me?
Yeah, you can try to hack him.
I'm going to try and do that. So that would probably be my my logic.
Yeah, I would agree.
And then probably my augmented intelligence, cybernetics, right?
Yep.
So what would I roll for that? I already had the edge from the Captain America thing.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then
Just roll your
3d6.
3d6 and then add your logic to that.
6, 4, 5.
12, 13, 29.
Oh yeah, that he's gonna be hacked.
All right. So yeah, I go through the net, and I'm like, this bozo thinks he's gonna pull off one like he's got a set. I don't think so. First, hey, you over there with the shopping cart. I'm gonna need that.
All right. So what do you want to do to his equipment?
Once I have him under control, I'm gonna have him messing with his buddies.
Okay, so you want to like offset his targeting system and stuff, so that
Yeah, so like he aims at Captain America, but he actually so like anytime he aims at one of us, instead he's going to aim at the mimic. So like if he
Okay.
aims at Captain America, he'll aim at Shield guy. He'll aim
Okay.
at Lightning, blah blah blah.
Okay.
All right. Yep. That's done then. This should be interesting.
I love when that happens.
All right. Next up is Claus, the Wolverine lookalike.
They spent so long on the Hydra board coming up with these names.
I was
Right.
thinking that.
Sure.
I was thinking that. I mean, call him something like Savage or Feral or something.
Well, they probably ordered these
Claws?
guys
Come
off
on.
Wish.
Honey
That's
Badger.
true. Yeah.
I love the idea of the name being Honey Badger. That would have been awesome. But here we go.
Oh yeah.
Claws. Okay, so he rolls a 16, and then so that's going to be a total of 31 to hit. He's going to hit the real Wolverine, or attack the real Wolverine. So I think that's going to hit, right?
Yeah.
What's it against?
Agility
Mike, your
defense.
Oh, yeah.
agility defense? Would you get?
Oh, for his attack, it's a 31.
Oh yeah, got 25. Yeah.
Okay, so total damage is going to be
So,
44 points of damage.
Okay.
Oh, dear Lord Almighty.
Duke.
Yeah, that hurts.
Yep. Down to 86.
Honey Badger, there you go. Honey Badger don't care.
Yep.
Okay, back to Cap.
Okay, as a move action, I maintain the operations center, so everyone will still get their edge. And since I have targets right in front of me, I don't have to move. I will huck my shield at faux militant man. Right, that is a poor roll, but the total here is 24,
All right,
which I
24
believe will
just hits.
Okay. Damage is 8 plus that is total of 40.
All right, with that he goes down.
All right.
Your shield smacks him right in the head, and he drops. He's seeing stars. Not the stripes though. There's no stripes in these stars.
Should have spent no longer in the ice.
Hey, Mike,
Yes.
we need to according to El Berzadente in the Twitch chat, we need to fabricate cheese emojis.
Cheese emojis.
Yeah, for when we do the cheese.
Oh, because of all the cheese I've been dispensing.
Yes.
Yeah, I got you. I will either be less cheesy or find appropriate emojis.
We must find appropriate emojis. We
So
cannot
much
have you be
cheese,
less
it's like
cheesy.
a Tom and Jerry cartoon.
I've drawn.
I think that it is part of your intrinsic soul to be cheesy. And so if we ever asked you to stop doing that, that would be like killing a piece of you. No, and it'd probably be a majority of you. So I don't want to do that. That's murder.
Mike, I am saying you're 80% cheese by volume. And by cheese, I mean Velveeta or possibly USDA surplus. No offense.
Right on. All right, Storm is up.
Okay, so playing with her lightning, juggling with the lightning she sent at me, I look at her and go, parlor tricks are no match for the true goddess of thunder. Feel the real raw power of Storm. And I'm going to just unleash that lightning back that she threw at me, except harnessing more of it through my body and just amplifying it. And I'm just going to charge it straight at her.
Okay.
Considering Captain America is in between the two, he puckers just a little bit.
Okay, sorry, you're right. I'm going to raise up to the ceiling so that I'm shooting down. So I'll raise up to the ceiling so I'm shooting down. So I'm not taking full cover behind him anymore.
He still puckers just a little bit because he's holding a very metal object in his arm.
That's a
okay.
great image. That is a really great image.
I love that.
Yeah, I've got 14 on the dice, so not worth the edge roll because none of the dice would make it more interesting. So 14, so that's 35 on her.
All right. Yeah, that is going to hit.
Okay, let's do some damage. I'm definitely using the edge on damage again because I got one low die. So that is 10, 13. 13 plus my damage of 30 So that is 43.
Yikes! That is a very solid strike. Yeah. So
As her hair starts to frizz up because she does not have my style.
all
So I
right,
made
she
her
goes
put a
down.
little extra static charge in there.
So she crumples into a charred, suited smoking heat. So next up is Wolverine.
Okay, cool. Right, so other Wolvie is going to get a attack with my Focus Frenzy attack. Okay, let's double check because I just looked it up, but I think I got it right. Okay, so I Focus Fury. Right, so I get to make a fight attack with an edge. Oh, which is what I needed because I rolled very, very badly. Right. Okay, that would be 9. That's 25.
All right, yeah, that's
believe
gonna
is a
hit.
hit. Okay,
That is a hit.
and then I get to spend first damage. I'll do standard damage. That's 3d6. That's 8. The maths wizards are preying on me today. Right.
I came with my math brain today and nobody else did.
Yeah,
Yes.
I haven't got
Yeah.
maths brain. It doesn't exist. Okay,
Yeah.
so 39 damage base, but then I can spend up to twice my rank in focus to do additional damage, which is my rank of 10. So I'll do additional 20 damage. So I do 59 damage.
And he goes down.
Okay, so I will slide my claws
Which
out of him and
Wolverine
go,
goes down?
didn't think so, bub. And then leave him there.
Okay.
Kids, this is Captain America reminding you, pay attention in math class.
All right. So
I did maths twice. I did maths at A-level and GCSE. I still didn't crap at it.
So this is something we could talk about in post game, but the higher non-calculated math, I don't think is very helpful. Honestly, I think we could scale this down. But anyway,
Yeah, Aiden and I have been talking off game,
we have
out of
thoughts.
game about the overinflation.
We have thoughts, yes.
okay. So it's now Trash Panda's turn. He's going to target. He's going to try to target Captain America again, but his targeting system is overridden, so he's going to be targeting not Storm, Lightning. Oh, Lightning's down. Okay. That's right. You know what? He's going to give up. He's like, you got me. Because he's the only one left. Storm went down when Alice shot her, so he's the only one left. And he's looking around like his stuff isn't working, so he's going to give up.
Great.
He's like, haul me in.
You
I'll
did,
get out soon.
You did good. He'll Captain America will pull out handcuffs from his utility belt and hand them to Wolverine.
I look at him kind of funny, and because I do the cartoon thing, the comic book thing, where I just generate some lightning cuffs, therefore making it a little more interesting. He tries to break them. I'll bind him up with lightning lasso.
All right. So if Rocket does kind of check on the computer to see what kind of information they were looking for, they were looking for an interview with Silver Surfer about his travels before coming to Earth. So the hostages, they weren't really intended to kill, just to keep people away till they got away with the information. But the hostages thank you all for saving their lives. There's news coverage of your heroic acts. And of course, J. Jonah Jameson complains that Spider-Man wasn't there to help everyone out.
Wait, what?
Because
Wait,
he's
what?
going on the villain's side.
Okay,
Oh.
we immediately had. Okay, yeah, it's like, because if that was his complaint, I was going to head to the Daily Bugle and start arresting J. Jonah Jameson for being a Skrull.
Yes, exactly. And then he definitely became a Skrull if you did that.
Right. So, yeah. So that concludes our play test of the Marvel Multiverse role playing game. I had a lot of fun. So I think we should talk about
Let's
what we think
let's
of
have
it.
thoughts.
Yeah, it was lots of fun. So, who wants to start with thoughts?
I've got a few things.
Hit it. Hit it.
I've got
Abe.
a couple. I only got my book. I got my book 4 weeks after the original one, so I haven't had much chance to apart from skim it. There's some very interesting things in this that make no sense. So first of all, when I was Wolverine, I got to throw that little tiny statue at the Hydra guy, and do my rage damage. Okay.
Yep.
Range damage is set. There's nothing in the only thing in the rules that says because I haven't got the mighty power, I can pick up something less small than me and throw it. Okay, but weight is not a consideration in that. So I can pick up a beach ball and smash someone in the face with it, or a bowling ball and smash someone in the face with it, and still do 3d6 plus 25 damage. Right?
Yep.
When you get the mighty power, that allows you to lift bigger things. Doesn't mention weight, bigger things. And hitting people with bigger things does more damage, but throwing at people with bigger things does not do more damage. So I could pick up one of those inflatable wavy arm things outside of a car dealership and hit it with them, and that would do the same amount of damage as a lamppost because they're about the same length.
It's
That
a bit
is
like
a very
icons
odd
like
thing.
that, or mutants and masterminds in that way.
Yeah, a non-based weightlifting super strength system is very, very unusual.
Yeah.
That's
I
the
would
first.
agree.
That's the first thing.
Point number one.
Yes.
Well,
Right.
we give Aid a second to just calm down so he doesn't have a heart attack. Why don't we move on to somebody else for 1 point, and then we'll come back around to him once he's had a few breaths.
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead, please.
Go ahead, Jason.
Oh, I was gonna say I don't know that I'm crazy about the power-based mechanic because it's not effect-based. I feel like the effect-based is a stronger system because you don't have to learn each individual tweak of the same power over and over and over. So it's like a spell list, and I don't know that that's the best way to go about a superhero game.
There's also sort of choices to the spells as well, because where they've made it the shield spell, effectively shield powers, right? But then you get like Daredevil later on is supposed to have a baton that can bounce off of walls, and even Thor's Mjolnir says, "Oh, it works exactly the same as shield ricochet."
Yep.
So it's like, why didn't you just call the power ricochet and apply it to any weapon rather than saying it's like works like a shield weapon? That makes no sense either. And some of the choices for like Mr. Fantastic, because they've got like stretching powers in there as well. It's like, right, you can turn yourself into a bubble and take less bludgeoning damage. You can so you can float by doing it. But one of the powers is you can stretch your neck to look around a lot. It's like, why is that not just a elasticity power thing? It makes no sense. Why is that been specifically put in there?
Yeah, there are no power stunts either.
No, there's not. So I have not. So full disclosure, I don't believe in paying for playtest copies of games anymore after several bad experiences in past games. So I did not buy the playtest of this. So I have not had the read through, but I have gotten to discuss with a few people who have the book and gotten peeks at various aspects of the book. And what I have seen so far is that the creator, which I know the creator has done several other superhero games, the creator, I think, was very much either inspired or pressured to try and create a system utilizing some of the most iconic superhero games that have deemed into the world of TTRPGs. Being that there is a lot of influence from Hero System, and there's also a lot of influence from Phase Rip, to the point where he's even trying to use certain phrasing and certain mechanical terms like karma and such, Phase Rip, to generate that feeling. That's the other thing is that the inflation of certain numbers, I think, is influenced by intention of certain aspects from those systems that he's trying to bring in to try and create that iconic feel. However, while there is potential and there is an attempt, and I can see where the influences come from all these iconic games that I've played in the past, I don't think that together they are meshing at the moment, because I understand that the modern gamer is not the same gamer that I came out starting to game with Hero System and various other things in Phase Rip, where the system mechanics are so overloaded. I think that my hero system books are, could literally bury me and nobody would ever find me because I'm tiny and those hero system books are humongous. And I get
Those are
that.
pretty big books.
Yes, and I get that nobody wants to sit there and go, one power is like 6 lines of that's fine. But when you're trying to, at that point, adjust to make it simplified, simplification doesn't require you, for the modern gamer, I feel I'm trying to find the most positive and PC way of saying this. You are micromanaging your players and you're micromanaging the people that are trying to play this game because you are trying to systematically identify every single possible nook and cranny of a game, but that's not how a superhero game works. You can't codify everything in that same way. Simply saying, well, you have to buy a power to stretch your neck, power to stretch your arm, power to stretch your leg, power. It's like, Mr. Fantastic, I need 1, 2, 3, 4. How many powers to stretch my body? The micromanaging does not work, and the idea of that's getting into another point. So I'll go with that as my point.
All right. For me, I did pay for the physical copy. It is always fun to play with the toys, and by that I mean, everyone always thinks about what they would do if they got to be Spider-Man or Captain America, and this lets you do that. But so do a number of other games. You just have to write those characters up in said games. This game has a lot of problems. Now, it's very easy to play because all the numbers are there, and you just have to look up what your powers do, and that's really about it. But if you don't have access to the book, then it becomes difficult to play because you don't know exactly what abilities can do. So,
Jacob, I have a question about that.
Yeah.
What do you find easier to play if you're talking about ease? Cortex, the Margaret Weiss and Margaret Weiss Productions.
I never played that game, so I cannot.
Have you ever
I
played?
loved that one. Actually,
I do too. By the way, there's a new one coming out, very much inspired by that, with all the franchise stuff stripped away and reskinned for Cortex Prime. But Jacob, have you played Cortex Prime?
I have not played Cortex Prime.
We're gonna have to fix that. Got it.
Okay. As for the game mechanics of this game, I've got a lot of problems. There is huge number bloat that I feel is completely unnecessary. The challenge of what number you're supposed to hit to succeed on an average check is based on your character level, not on the level of difficulty that would be, it's not that something that is hard, something that is easy is DC 10, something that is rather difficult is DC 15. No, it's based on what level you are to succeed. So my character being rank 15, to get an average difficulty would have to make a success of DC 26. Whereas other characters in this game who are rank 10 have to make a DC of 23.
What
and
also
that's for
makes
an average roll.
That makes it really hard to do that in your head, set DCs in your head.
Exactly. So I've got real problems with the number bloat of this game, and the difficulty checks of where they are. It needs a huge pass. They need to do a lot with this in order to impress me before the final release.
Are you guys sending your feedback to the folks?
I did.
Put out. Okay.
Another thing I find odd as well is the Hydra people at the back of the book. Yeah, they're rank 1 characters. Okay, yeah, I think it's actually impossible for anybody in the group to actually miss them because of their defenses. But if Hydra is a trained terrorist organization, why are they not rank 3 or rank 4? Because what does that make Aunt May and J. Jonah Jameson? they rank 0? Are they rank what? You know, they should be higher than the 1, I would say.
And to address the fact that the Hydra are rank 1, you want them to be mooks? Great. There are a lot of systems, not just superhero systems, but systems in general that do mooks. Look at Feng Shui, which was one of the most iconic ones that do mooks. But Supers has a way of doing minions or mooks. There are a number of other systems. And you don't need to you can have a separate subsystem while using basically the same mechanics without making them a rank 1 and kind of screwing a lot of people, and also making it not make sense on, well, I'm just going to auto hit, why do I bother rolling dice? Regarding the number bloat, dice, if you're going to make somebody roll dice, it should mean something. I never felt like my dice meant jack. I'm sorry, but big numbers are fine. There are plenty of games with big numbers with big damage dice. Look at one of the inspirations for this game is probably Hero System is what I meant. And Hero System, you can roll a lot of freaking damage. And some days I'm like, oh, look at my dice. But the dice mean something. Here I'm like, okay, I'm rolling 3d6 and my bonus is like 3 times what I'm rolling.
Yeah, the fact that my damage roll was 3d6. Ooh, that's a total of 18 plus 32 for damage. It's like my dice mean jack.
And it was similar for the 2 hits. That it's like, well, the guys that we're fighting, it's like, well, I'm rolling 3d6, but my 2 hit number is so high on bonus that the dice mean nothing. So, okay, but I think
those are great points. Well, let's hear from you, man.
If I had to make a guess, some executive talked to somebody in the role-playing game community, and the role-playing game guy probably looked at him and was like, we could do blah, 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 blah. And the executive said, make it like Marvel's Avengers video game or Marvel's Ultimate Alliance. Thanks, bye. And I think that's kind of the feel I'm getting, is that somebody tried to pattern this after a video game. But because the video games pattern and factor in so much math, they were like, yes, but these people love math. We have champions. Look how much math they love. And look at this system. They love the math here too. So I think what we have is a very pretty book that needs a very lot of work.
Right.
And if they were smart, they would listen to a lot of the people that are playtesting this and bring this back to spec, because while what they have works, it doesn't work for a superhero genre, because with that genre, you want speed, cinematic effect, and the ability to exemplify heroism at its best point. I mean, what would happen if, we all think back to that great scene in the first Avengers movie. And Captain America jumps on the hood of that car and he looks at the 2 cops and he's like, I need you to direct all these people here. I need you to do this, dude. Right? How would that scene have been different if we have to stop in the middle of the table and go, okay, what was my role again? Oh, I have to wait a minute. I got to figure this out. Hold on 1 second. Okay. I succeeded against that cop. Now I got to succeed against this cop. Let me do the math on that too. So now you're breaking that experience that we get from moving from panel to panel in a comic book. And instead, they're trying to bring the math that should occur behind the screen to the player. So it's kind of like what Alice was saying earlier, and Jacob touched on it a little bit as well. You get that experience where you are asking the player to do the job, to do the work for you. And as a game designer, you really should have that all kind of worked out, so that like Alice was saying, the fun of Champions was taking a fistful of dice, right? Loading it onto a forklift, driving as fast as the thing would go, and then hitting the brakes and watching them all fall off and see what they rolled, right? That was the fun of Champions, because you'd be like, dude, look at all those 6s. And if they were on your side, people were cheering. People would cheer around the table, even though it would take 15 minutes to find all the dice and then count them.
Pick them off the floor.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And then, yeah, exactly.
And then for the 3d6 to hit, like how many people would like jump out of their chairs when people roll straight ones to hit?
Right. And it's I think the 3d6 resolution is a good idea. Having a simple set of dice with a limited mechanic, awesome, right? But when you start putting in all of these factors that should have been handled or dealt with behind the screen, you're taking time away from that chair jumping out experience, and that fistful of dice experience. People swearing at the top of their lungs because as everybody jumped up, they spilled soda and coffee and snacks all over the place. I mean, that's the stuff you remember when you sit down and play a game with your friends. You don't remember Mrs. Liberatori's friggin' calculus class. You barely remember that the second you leave high school, much less sitting around with your friends. So I think this needs once again, as much like Alice, I did not buy the book. I am a stalwart fan of Marvel Phase Rip, and that game was exceptional for its time, and with minor tweaks will still hold up today. So to have a game come out and say, we're Marvel and you're going to experience marvelous math today, yeah, I think you're missing the point. You're trying to fabricate something that is different so that you stand out, but in doing so, you have embraced a level of mediocrity that is creeping into your films and comics, and it shows just as much in your games. So yeah, that's my thing.
May I make a comment about your comment about video games?
Yeah, go for it.
So D&D 4th edition tried that, failed. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, but straight up, D&D 4th edition tried that. Everything felt the same. It was really easy for computer programs to mimic. But you have to realize that at a tabletop, when you're doing a tabletop role-playing game, it is a different mentality than when you're sitting at a video game. I play both. I love both. Great. But it is a very different it's a very different system to program something and make it easy for programming versus something that will innately bring somebody images into their mind and start getting them into the role versus making everything kind of feel everything's the same but different. How is it the same but manages to be different? And that's the problem if you try and make a game that is mechanically conducive to a video game. But the irony of that is games like that tend to translate well to board games. So you can rework it and look at all the board games that have spawned out of D&D 4th edition and 5th edition amalgamations like Gloomhaven. That's a straight up breakdown mechanics. That is straight up D&D 4th edition reskinned as a board game.
Yeah.
4E would have been better, in my opinion.
What is that better?
4E would have been better than what we got, in my opinion.
I think that it's got a similar, if you're talking about, hey, address this like a video game, that doesn't work for the tabletop gamer. It is a different mentality. It's linear thinking versus abstract thinking. And while there are linear thinkers amongst D&D gamers, those linear thinkers are actively trying to be more abstract thinkers when they're at the table. We have a linear thinker that's here all the time. Mike's a pretty linear thinker. And
don't hate the cheese.
What? Awesome.
I'm saying that Mike's a great example of linear thinker. I play with a lot of linear thinkers, but Mike does programming all the time, but it does not translate in the same programming doesn't translate in the same way to the tabletop role playing.
That's why when he goes to his alter ego, he has that cheese power.
Exactly. We still need to see the cheese hat next time. He needs to wear the cheese hat. I mean,
I no.
Mike, what did you think?
Cheese hats are illegal in the Denver metro area. I don't want to go to prison. I'm too pretty.
Send it to you in a care package.
Football is a big deal here. You don't understand. It's like a religion. I don't make the law. Honestly, I read the book and my big thought was Ken Forbeck has done smart stuff. If I were him, I wouldn't want to be prejudged. Because you see playtest docs for a lot of games. I was a writer on Margaret Weiss's Marvel game. The playtest docs didn't look as good as the published stuff. I have faith in the writer. He's getting a lot of feedback from a lot of people. I want to hope they're going to do right because it's been a long time. The Margaret Weiss game was great. We had a play test on here. Oh my God, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. It was a good time. They didn't market it well, and the licensing deal was lopsided, and they just couldn't, Disney canceled it. It would be nice to have an in-print published Marvel RPG you could point people to. And so I hope they're going to do the right thing here. And I mean, they're not tied to a schedule, right? They can take all the time they need and get it right. So I think everyone has valid criticisms. I just choose to be hopeful. And
I totally agree with Mike that being hopeful is good. I hope that the creators are listening to feedback. I try and be very positive in the way that I'm framing my feedback because I don't want them to feel bashed. I don't want anyone to feel bashed because games are hard to write, and so 100% agree with that. For people who are interested in seeing this guy's talent, he wrote Brave New World, which is a pretty iconic superhero game from many decades ago, like late 90s, I think it is. I don't know. I have it.
It was late 90s, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a great game. So you guys, if you like superheroes, go check out Brave New World. It has nothing to do with Aldous Huxley's Brave New World, as it took me a year or two to figure out.
One thing I wanted to add that Walt mentioned, the game not feeling heroic. This game feels like a beat 'em up game.
Yeah.
All the powers are very combat oriented, and there's nothing that I could find, having read the playtest document, that really rewards your character for doing heroic things. Like, I wanted to take time to get the hostages out. Do I get something for that? In several other superhero games that I love and enjoy, you get something for that. Is there something for, there's all these character tags on every character sheet for traits. If we tag those traits, abrasive, alien heritage on Rocket Raccoon, do we get something for that? There's no rules in here for that. There's nothing in here that promotes role playing over combat.
And also, it's not just the aspect of saving people. You look at superhero games, and how many games deal with the espionage aspect, the interaction, the social aspects. Those are both very important aspects. One of the best parts about having a secret ID is when your street ID gets in the way of life as a superhero, and that's
Absolutely.
social and espionage, and there's a lot of different things that you need to incorporate beyond just I'm going to bash them over and over and over with 6 different ways that all end up basically feeling the same, because I really did not feel my powers of shooting lightning felt any different than Cap's shooting his shield, because we were both basically adding the same bonus. We were basically, it just felt the same.
Yeah, I get the impression that it's kind of somewhat built on 5e, but in a way that they can just make a bunch of books with new powers and new characters, and you can keep buying their book, to get, so you can make your version of insert character, Darkhawk or whatever. But
at some point, and I mean, I'm the guy who runs the BAMFSIs, so I am aware to some degree, maybe not as much as Alice is, but I'm aware of the great wealth of new RPG systems being spawned for the superhero genre, daily, hourly. Geeks are writing new systems all the time, and I think there's a high bar for, do we need a new system for this? Could you not have just licensed Icons, Supers, Mutants, and Masterminds? But I mean, they're wanting... If I'm at Disney, I'm looking at the huge numbers that D&D is doing, especially in streaming. And I'm going to say to Matt Forbeck, who is a great writer and a great RPG guy, friend of the podcast, Christopher McLaughlin, is only writing RPGs. And he wrote some great content for Masterminds. He's only in the field because Matt Forbeck brought him into the field. They're saying to him, you know what, let's do something simple, get some of those streamer kids, get some of those kids under the age of 30 playing RPGs. So...
Yeah.
The horrible truth is the opinions of old grognards like us might not be wholly relevant to what they're doing.
like I said, he's definitely going for the simpler because the game, the pendulum swings, all the way out to the simplistic. But I think that simplistic can be handled in a more streamlined fashion. And I totally agree that Matt Forbeck is a fantastic creator, which is why I plugged his product. But I think that for him, he needs to shift his mindset a little bit because he does prefer that complexity from us old grognards. But shifting that mindset in the way that this is approached to streamline it for where he's trying to straddle on that line. But yes, I have a great deal of respect. I didn't even realize this was Matt Forbeck's product when we started playtesting. And I noticed it first session, if you guys recall, I'm like, oh shoot. So by all means, this has nothing to do with my respect for him as a creator. He is fantastic. He
also wrote the series of novels that accompanied the Blood Bowl game.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that.
Oh boy.
I do have a recollection of something about that. I never read those.
The game of play orcs and you win.
Oh yes, Blood Bowl is Blood Bowl marks us as old. The fact that we know Blood Bowl marks us as old.
Yeah, I really feel like I don't want to say this out loud because I don't want to go write it, but I think like we are ripe for a new rules light fantasy take on football. But somebody else can write that and make $1 million.
It's called the NFL. We don't need it.
The USFL is starting up. Well,
yeah,
it's coming back.
I told my wife a couple years ago. I said I was going to try for the that new what do you call it, the one with the women's league, and run around the field, in lacy outfits, and she punched me in the mouth. So.
It's good that she keeps you in line, sir.
Yeah, because otherwise I have weird ideas.
There is actually a female football league that does that. Go look up Multiverse Football. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I know that. I was making fun of her because she was like, "What's next? Girls in lingerie playing football?" I'm like, "Well," she's like, "What?"
They make a lot of money doing it too. There's actually now some major issues about the fact that they're taking injuries more severely than real football players because they're still going full on with much less protection.
Those shoes are not designed for running. Not speaking from experience, I'm just saying. Funny story, and then we'll sign off. I used to do a lot of high-end catering back in Indianapolis in my college days, and I wound up being at more than a few parties where Robert Irsay, the owner of the Colts, was. And he had a bad habit of getting drunk. And he's a very friendly drunk. And his favorite thing to do, if there's a big guy close to him when he's drunk, is talk them into being a walk-on player for the Colts and saying he'll be putting a good word for him. And I saw this happen more than once. And actually, our head dishwasher, who was like 350, big corn-fed boy, actually took him up on it, drove out to the Colts training facility. I was like, Bob told me to come out. I'm here. And they were like, Bob always does this. Sorry. I'm sure you're very nice, but I don't think you understand. This is the NFL. You can't just drive out and say, hi, I want to play. So, anyway, thank you, everyone, for your feedback. Walt, Aid, Jacob, Jason, Aid, you've been awfully quiet, sir. What are your thoughts on this?
I'm here. Yeah, I'm looking to see what happens with it. There's stuff there that's the potential. We'll see where it goes. That's pretty much all I can say at the moment. It's not as though we've not got like icons on one end and Mutants Masterminds and Hero on the other end. So there is something in the middle would be okay, but let's see what happens.
Indeed. All right, and with that happy thought, we will wrap things up, and we'll be playing some other game, noon Mountain Time, here on the BAMF podcast.
Groovy.